610 WIOD, your leader in South Florida sports, presents Go You Dolphins! Dolphins Football 87. Go!
Back to throw is Marino. Throws, scores for a touchdown.
Go!
Brogan back to throw. Pass is intercepted, and the Dolphins have it at the Patriots. Marino, play fakes, throws for the corner of the end zone. Touchdown to Jim Jensen.
With a look ahead at our game, here's head coach Don Shula and the voice of the Dolphins, Rick
First
Weaver.
of all, tonight, let's start over the preseason. I guess it's going to take a little while to describe all the injuries.
Well, that's the only disappointing thing of the preseason. We started out and didn't play very well. The first two preseason ball games, we lost them both and didn't do much that I was happy about. I'd hoped that we would make some progress, and it didn't show in the first two preseason ball games. And then, of course, in the first preseason ball game, we had Offerdahl go down with a serious injury, and Marino went down, and that knocked him out of any preseason play up until the quarter that he played last week against Buffalo. Then I felt that in the last two preseason games, we started to show signs of coming around in all areas, all the things that we hoped would get better. Defensively, we played much better coverage. We didn't give up the cheap touchdown, the long run, or the long pass. We shut out the Eagles. They had only 3 points, and then Buffalo had one long pass against us, and then also they had one running play that was pretty significant. But overall, I felt that we put good pressure on the passer against Buffalo, and our coverage was better, and we just looked like we at least were headed in the right direction. The negative thing was the injury to Hugh Green in the Buffalo game. He went out, and I'll talk more about that later on. But anytime you lose a guy like Hugh Green, it really hurts you in what you're trying to get done. But winning the last two preseason games made our record in preseason 2-2. And then the fact that Marino was able to come back and play in the first quarter against Buffalo, he got some good work in there. Probably the highlight of the preseason, I would have to say, was James PRUITT for the fine work that he did in the first 3 games. He got shut out in the last game, the Buffalo game. I hope that isn't a sign of things to come, but I'm confident that PRUITT, with the new confidence that he has and awareness, is going to be a big factor for us. Mark Clayton didn't play in the ball game, but we're hoping that he's ready to go when we open this week in New England. The running game came to life in the last couple of games. Lorenzo Hampton looked like he was ready to do the job for us. I played Woody Bennett at the fullback position the last 2 games, and his blocking is real helpful in the running game. And then he also, when he gets his hands on a ball, he's not a bad runner. Troy Stratford, I think, would also have to be one of the highlights of the preseason, and the fine job that he did as he stepped in, and both as a pass receiver and then also as a running back and a kick returner. He's not a bad kick returner. Was one of the highlights of the preseason. So we got John Boza into the lineup, and after only a couple of days practice, he played both in long yardage situations, rushing a passer, and then also on our base defense, or our 1st and 10 defense, and he seemed like he knew what to do, and whatever he was going to do, he was going to do very aggressively, and that was a pretty good sign of what we had hoped to see. When we took Boza, we felt that he would be a guy that could play on every down, and it would give you everything that he had on every play, and that's the kind of football player that I think that we're getting. Just getting back under the squad cuts, and what a difficult decision when you involve Tony Nathan in the decision-making, and then also Nat Moore in the decision-making. Nat came in about halfway through the preseason, and I gave him permission to do that with the understanding that it would be competitive. And then our young receivers were coming along. Banks had a good night against Buffalo, and he shows signs of being a good receiver. And, of course, Schwades is our kick returner and also has the potential to be a fine receiver. And Tony Nathan's pretty much the same, a guy that's just been a dependable guy, especially in long yardage situations in recent years. And he's going to be tough to replace because he was a specialist in that certain situation.
Thank you, Don, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
You've been listening to WIOD's Coach's Comment.